75 hard and massive production increases. Is this a coincidence? I am 7 days into 75 hard, and what I noticed this week in my tracking of my production is that for the first week in a long time, like I'm thinking maybe 2 or 3 months, I have completed 20 out of 21 items that I set for myself during this week. Now, there was one miss, and I regretfully didn't take that one out. I would have loved to have taken that out, got 21, got blackjack, but alas. But my traditional scores over the last couple of months have been the occasional 15 or 16, generally running between 10 to 12. And yet I start 75 hard a week ago, and suddenly my production goes way up. This does not seem to make sense on a purely time basis. Suddenly, by taking on 75 hard, instead of doing 15 minutes or so of exercise training, I've ramped it up to an hour and a half, and yet more got done. I don't know what's going on here. It's kind of curious. But what I think is going on is that it forced me to schedule 45 minutes in the evening that traditionally I would have thought to myself, oh yeah, that'll be available to catch up for today. Now, without that available, it actually drove production to get done in time in order to have space for that. This is a very peculiar phenomenon. The second phenomenon that could be happening is that just by training harder, there's more energy, there's more life, there's more drive, there's more enthusiasm, there's more ability to smash through obstacles, to change my very mindset about what's possible. And previously, where I would have chosen to say, you know what, that's too hard, that's too difficult, I'm too tired, I can't do this, that with the first week of 75 hard under my belt, I'm actually saying, you know what, I can do this. Shit, if I can do 2 45-minute exercise training sessions a day, as well as stay on a diet, keep off alcohol, and read 10 pages, then actually doing the work required is okay. I had a very difficult conversation, confronting conversation, not so much difficult, confronting. One of my brothers in my small group called Trifecta, he was like, well, how much work do you actually do each day? And when I thought about it, I was like, look, man, maybe 2 or 3 hours. And he's like, you know what? Me too. Me too. I'm like, seriously? He's like, yeah. Damn. Phone call coming in. Let me get rid of that. 2 or 3 hours. And yet somehow in increasing my level of activity, more is getting done. We'll see whether this trend continues. Next week, I will know whether, with another week of 75 hard, whether the production continues. Next week, will it be a return to the 12, or will it be a 19, 20, or preferably a 21? There is an interesting evolution that's going on in how I think. That for having been in Wake Up Warrior for 4 years, I've heard them speak of terms of such as commitment, dedication, actually getting stuff done. But it's only recently that I'm beginning to see what that really means. That when I make a commitment, it gets done. And there is a power in this that what is opening up is that there's a death of who I was, where a commitment was optional, which is pretty funny, a commitment being optional. Like, surely that's the very definition of a commitment, is that it is not optional, it will be. But somehow there is this growth happening, and I am beginning to believe that things can get done. I'm loving my software development stuff. It's super fun. Like, I'm way undertrained, like total Zen beginner mind. I'm just working out how stuff works. I'm like, oh, look, if you do it this way, if you do it that way. I'm learning very systematic ways of approaching changes that have to be made. I'm like, all right, let's get this right. Get this block absolutely spot on, that the colors are right, the names are right, the little arrows in Figma. If you're not familiar with Figma, you basically get to drag a button and tell it where to go. that all of that is set up correctly, then copy the whole thing and then go to the next one. Delete everything and paste. Delete everything and paste. Delete everything and paste. Now, there may well be a better way to do this, but what I'm learning is that when the first bit is set up correctly, then the work does become a whole lot easier. This essentially is do the work once and then copy and paste a bunch of times. This is exciting. It's cool. It is a stretch from who I have been up until this point. Look, I've been in computers for a long time. What am I, 44 now? I think I managed to convince my father to get a Amstrad 3086, something like that. It had a gigantic 30 gigabyte hard drive. It was literally an XT processor with 640K RAM and a 12-inch VGA CRT monitor. Now, many of you watching will have no idea what that was, but a long time ago, there were computers that were not very powerful. By a million miles, the phone that you are watching this on or the computer that you are using to watch this are infinitely, not infinitely, but so vastly more powerful that it is incredible. But you might wonder what I was up to. Well, I used to love playing Sierra Online games, these adventure games. So my love affair with computers has been a long time. And what is possible now with things like Figma or Adobe XD is simply mind-blowing. To make it possible for someone like me who's not had any programming training to actually go ahead and create high-definition prototypes to then hand off to developers, this is the coolest experience of all time. All right, that's all I got for you today. I got a fair bit of work to do yet to come. A second 45-minute training session, general's tent for the day. I want to practice my harmonium, and I've also potentially either got to mow the grass or find someone to mow the grass. Hopefully my wife will be interested in doing that. Look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's episode as we continue this journey into the power of systems to create results. I'll see you then.